We're here with the undefeated Bellator heavyweight, Steve Mowry. Is your fight name Tall Steve, or is that just your Instagram handle?
I mean, everybody calls me Tall Steve, but I think that just comes with the territory.
The territory. You're 6'8".
Yes.
So. Everybody's 6'8". I bet you get this question asked a lot. Did you play basketball when you were younger?
I did not. I actually took a basketball class in college, and there was like a health credit or a physical education credit, and it was that was the first time I'd ever really committed to playing basketball.
How'd you do?
Awful. I had no coordination. I didn't know how to balance a ball. I didn't know how to do any of the a lot of the kids in it actually played basketball.
Yeah.
So I went to a small community college away. It was in Butler County Community College, and right up the road was Butler High School. So a lot of the kids actually knew each other, played with each other, whatever. So they already had a lot of the same coaches, a lot of the same plays even. And whenever I walked onto the court, I remember the first two classes, everybody picked me first, but they figured out pretty quickly that I was not hip. So.
You're like, come see me on the streets, motherfucker. We'll fight.
Yeah, one kid went for a layup, and he was telling us whenever they teach you to go for a layup, they tell you to bring your knees to your chest.
Yeah.
And he kneed me in the face, and I got so mad. I was like, motherfucker, we can figure it out right now. And he was like, I'm sorry, bro. This is just how I'm taught. And I was like, I'm gonna fuck with your taught.
So, all right. So you are. I looked on your Instagram because that's where we should find all of our information.
Of course.
And you have a lot of people that follow you, and then also that I've either interviewed or I not know personally, but I saw Desmond Green on there that follows you. That's somebody
good friend of
mine. I interviewed him. He's great. And I interviewed Jason Jackson, who is also great. Those two guys are coming off of pretty good wins, and then also they train in Hard Knocks over there. You train at Hard Knocks as well, right? At 365.
Yeah, we're all teammates with each other. Desmond was the first friend I made, actually. Whenever I moved here, it was the Black Zillions. So yes. Desmond was the first friend I made when I moved down here.
That's amazing. So I those guys have no fear in their hearts. So you guys all train together. Do you guys are you sparring partners? Because I saw a video of Jason Jackson sparring Luke Rockhold the other day, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That was wild. I mean, is that the first time you'd ever seen it?
Yeah, well, when I saw, I was like, I gotta find some video that I can use that isn't like UFC, because I use some UFC's kind of really annoying with their copyright shit.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But if they're a business, I understand.
When I watch video analyses, the people usually have to mirror it, to do a mirror of the video itself, or they have to cover up they have to cover up the thing in the corner or whatever.
The logos, yeah, they were picking up the logos, and they were picking up the one I used was Jason Jackson. He was on The Ultimate Fighter, so it was the smallest 5-second clip of him just dodging a punch, and I made this really cool video, and I got shadow banned, and they removed it from Instagram. So I was like, What can I fucking use? And I was like, that's better than what I found.
That's a sick video.
Yeah, it was him just
those
going
two getting
hard.
Down.
Yeah, just him go. But that seems to be the culture at Hard Knocks 365 is you guys go fucking full tilt.
You're right. Those two, I don't spar with Desmond as much. I've moved around with him a couple times. Whenever we start the sparring, the pro sparring, we move around, and what that is just you put all your gear on, you start touch sparring, just to get your movement down. But Henry, as soon as he starts, he goes, okay, start moving around, just touch each other. But then I'll tell you, all right, move your feet. So what he's saying is get your body in a rhythm of fighting each other. And, you're not supposed to hit each other hard yet, but then we'll do, 5-10 minutes of that. He'll let you take a break or do what you got to do. And then it's full tilt boogie for half an hour, 45 minutes.
So there's a lot of people who I guess are against going, full tilt sparring sometimes. So I wanted to know, what's that culture like for you? Obviously that's a good fit for you because you're staying there, and they're putting out a lot of guys who are very, very good at striking, all around. And Henri Hooft is one of the best in the business as far as a striking coach goes. So how does this fit into your life? How did you come across this gym, and how does this culture fit into your life?
Well, it was an interesting culture to join because I really feel like I got in at the ground level of something pretty special in that the Black Zillions was ending when I got there. So whenever I got there was when the rumors first started that, everything wasn't okay at the OK Corral. And, Glenn and Henry were starting to have problems behind the scenes. And, the people that whenever there was the big, like whenever the team split up, I really feel like I got in, like I said, at the ground level there because I got to, working with people that I really feel like were instrumental in building the beginnings of my pro career. And what that shaped out to be was I really feel like we're all doing a good job of pushing each other without pushing each other too much. And, it's not a secret. In that gym, man, we really go at it. But can you honestly tell me the last time a person from Hard Knocks 365 pulled out of a fight from injury?
I can't.
See, you can't.
I can't.
So yeah, we do. We go really hard. We fight each other, but we have a good culture where we take care of each other. People don't really get hurt.
Right.
We're good teammates in the sense that we can push each other to the point where, we've reached our limit, but not to the point where people are getting hurt or, not safely training. And, it's something really nice to be a part of. And like I said, I got in right at the ground level of it. So
it's amazing.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, it's a good thing.
I know. There's a few people in Canada. There's a group called the Shave Bears. And they're pretty. They're like one of the top gyms in Canada as far as putting out pro products in what they call unified MMA, which is like a pretty big one there. But Shave Bears is like, it seems to be mostly big men. And I talked to a lot of guys there. One of them in particular, Chris Larson, about the difficulty of finding guys that are relatively skilled, who someone you can trust and someone you can be around in the gym and not worry about getting hurt or injured, all these other things, and training with those guys. Do you find that difficulty at all as finding guys who are your caliber, who are big? I know because there's not a lot of heavyweights in most pro MMA fights, right? Who are like at a super high level, like yourself, somebody who's like undefeated and going out there and competing at a high level. Do you find that same issue at all?
Yeah. I've been lucky to have I've had like maybe in the last 2 years, I probably had like 6-ish really consistent training partners.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been lucky to have them all be very good training partners.
Right.
Not just good in the sense that they're very skilled, but also very good in the sense that, I can trust them and, not only do I get the work I need, but I'm not scared that like something goofy is going to happen or they're going to do something, kind of sideways. But to answer your question, yeah, we don't get a lot of people that come and stay and, really fit the mold. Either they're not skilled enough or they, we can't trust them. They're just doing things that we're, hey man, like you cool it a little bit,
Right.
And, it's more often than not is people that we can't trust or like, we're constantly going through a process in the gym where we're, I don't want to say like weeding out the people that don't belong there, but we are very selective about who comes and stays. So, that said, I'm really grateful for the dudes that I've had around, thus far. And it's dudes that I've known. Most of them are dudes I've known for a long time, guys that I met when I got here and we stuck it out together.
Yeah, and aside from that too, like the coaching expertise is such a big deal. Like Henri Hooft actually comes to New Jersey sometimes. There's a South Jersey.
And does seminars up there, yeah.
Right. In South Jersey, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My buddy that goes there, he goes to the Henri Hooft seminars there, and he learns so much. And he's like, it's not even as much as like there's all this crazy new techniques. It's like shit that you already know that you can apply. That's just to your basics.
Right.
I want to try to make it out. I wanted to go last time, but I went to the UFC in Madison Square Garden, so I was like, I'm sorry. I wanted to go, but that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, so I wanted to go check that out while I had the money and was able to go do that. But next time he's down there, he seems to come to New Jersey a lot to do those seminars, so I'll try.
Yeah, he does. He's in good with Long Island MMA, Ryan LaFleur School.
Okay. He's
in good with those guys too. I mean, he's the kind of guy that the caliber of striking coach that anywhere he went he'd be able to. He can draw an audience, and Henry's a good dude. People really overlook the fact that he's a good striking coach, but he's a good guy. And I mean, him and I have gotten relatively close over the years. Yeah. He's somebody that like, one day he was just somebody I watched on TV, and now we motherfuck each other over something that I did in practice, or I teach kickboxing at the gym, so like. Awesome. We constantly are going back and forth about stupid stuff, and I mean it's all in good humor. But he's somebody I've gotten really close with. So it's special to he's become somebody that you're close with somebody whenever you can be cool with each other, but you're really close with somebody whenever you can talk shit to each other and
Yeah.
badmouth each other, and but he's Henry. At the end of the day, like I said, he is a good dude, and over the years, we've had a lot of stuff happen between him and I.
That's what I hear. Guys that go over there and train. I've heard some stories from not just one or two fighters, but a lot of different fighters who went down there, and sometimes they just let them train for free, just to see like what the thing was like was there, and I was like, wow, that's like he's just just seems like a good. I've never met him personally, but I've only heard good things, even like as far as like on other large MMA podcasts, I've only heard good things. So that's great. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. No, he's a good dude, and I mean, I would chalk up the fact that the culture is the way it is. I would say Henry's one of the bigger components of it, and then obviously, that said, Henry and Greg have some of the best coaching chemistry I've ever seen. Like between the two of them, they share a lot of the same values, and they do a really good job of like imparting that onto the team and onto the room. And I don't know, like I said, it's just really cool to be a part of.
Yeah. So
and Greg's somebody Greg's somebody that, I mean, another guy. Greg and I are from the same area, and Greg is obviously a very high caliber wrestler, like one of the best wrestlers that ever put shoes on.
Awesome.
And where I'm from, Greg's a legend. So he's another guy that like was really cool. That whenever I got down to Florida, I started to train with the guys. He went from another guy that was just somebody that like I'd only ever heard about and like heard how like high level of a coach and of a competitor he was, to now he's just like somebody that I see day in day out, and it's really cool that like that he became just a part of my life.
Where are you and Greg from? That was gonna be one of the next questions, because usually what I do with most of these interviews is like I like to find out where you're from, how you got into martial arts and all that stuff. So where are you guys from?
We're from Western Pennsylvania, so I'm about where I'm from is about 40 minutes north of Pittsburgh, and where he's from is about 20-25 minutes east of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that that was where we're from. So MMA hadn't, I mean, it's big, it's bigger now than it was, definitely back then.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really take off yet whenever Greg was wrestling. And by the time I started, Greg had already moved away and started his coaching stuff.
Gotcha. One other question too. I saw on your Instagram as well that your manager Tom Gormley, is that his name?
The gym manager, yeah.
Yeah, the gym manager. He was in a fight. So how'd that go? Was that last night?
Well, I met Tom in 2013 or 14, one of those. I want to say 13. He fought a friend of mine in an MMA fight, his first MMA fight. So Tom and I, another guy I've known over the years, I met Tom in Pittsburgh.
Okay. He
fought my friend, and then just like by chance, or whatever as the face would have it, we all ended up being good friends with each other. Mm-hmm. Like he went to a university, Slippery Rock University, which was like all like in the same area as us. And we just, like I said, we stayed close over the years. One of my best friends. And then whenever I moved down here, a couple of years later, Tom was doing an internship, and he ended up coming down here like to do his internship and stuff. Him and Henry really hit it off, and then now he's a gym manager down here. But he still trains, he still fights, he spars with the pros, and he's somebody that I would say like in the pro room is somebody that people seek to get work with.
That's awesome.
So so we've been trying to get him to compete more steadily, but last night was the first time in like a year and a half that we actually got to compete. We actually got to fight for him.
Shouts out to fucking Tom Gormley out here.
Yeah, shouts to Tom, the baddest gym manager there ever was.
Here we go. Did you watch any of the fights last night?
I saw. I'll be honest with you, dude. The Raquel Pennington and Holly Holm fight was boring as hell. Yeah, I was just in and out of it. And then
I'm such a Holly Holm fan too, and I was like, I haven't seen that from her where she's just gonna go across the cage and just put them in clinches against the cage.
Yeah, that's not really something. Holly Holm to her credit, or rather, Holly Holm, as I've known her, has never really been like. Obviously, she knocked out what's her name, Ronda, and then she did it again. What's her name? The flagpole female mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
But no, but like that said, can you ever really think of a time other than that fight or the Pescajea fight where she like did something where you're like, wow, it's like sensational.
I still think to this day that she beat Jermaine Duran to me, and I feel like since then there has not been
That was a cool fight, but that was cool because it was like
back and forth.
It was like a rhythm of like, man, like looks like Holly's winning this. Looks like and then like something big would happen.
Yeah.
But no, that said, Holly. I mean, I'm not saying Holly's a bad fighter. I'm just saying she's not always an exciting watch for me. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, but, I appreciate, I just maybe more her as a personality, and that like she's just like the preacher's daughter. You know what I mean? Like she's
cool.
She's so nice. You know, she is well accomplished as a striker.
Oh, she's very accomplished.
Yeah. You know, she's a great role model. And you know, you wish people like that. You know, like success. Like that's someone I feel like that should have the spotlight, because there's so many people who have the spotlight who are just shitty human beings. But she's like a really good person, and I feel, and she's really like a really good fighter. But you know, it hasn't been good the last few fights.
Yeah, it's been up and down for Holly. And, I mean, there's nothing bad you can say about her. Like she did everything there was to do.
Yeah, and she won. She won the way you're supposed to win.
She won the titles. She's fought everybody that there is to fight. You know, good and bad.
Right.
But you know, that said, I don't really get up for Holly Holm fights anymore, and it's not because I don't like value female MMA. I'm just saying like
they gave her a lot of shots at on prime time. So it's it's not like, you know, it's not like she's the best kept secret or she was tucked away. Like she rocketed after the Ronda KO and then you know she obviously she's made her money. Like she's not suffering, you know, like she fights consistently. So, you know, I think she's rated at right where she's at. You know, like she's
gonna go down as like one of the best, like kind of like the Evander Holyfield of female mixed martial arts for me.
Yeah.
You
like,
know,
I don't think anyone sleeps on her. I think everyone realizes, you know.
I think she's solidly rated.
Yeah. She's exactly rated. No one's like she's the worst ever, and no one's like she's the greatest. Well, some people might say she's the GOAT. I guess in their eyes, maybe. You know what I mean.
I'd tell them I wouldn't agree with them.
Yeah,
but.
I don't know about that. You know, as long as Amanda's alive and breathing.
It'd be really hard to take that away from Amanda Nunes at this point.
She would have to get knocked out by somebody equally as good.
Right.
But yeah. Then you almost everyone saw the 40 seconds.
I saw the Conor fight.
Everyone saw the 40-second fight.
I could not believe what I watched.
Yeah, if I was gonna say it was gonna end for Conor, it would have to end in the first 2 rounds.
I thought it was gonna be like, I thought it'd be closer to like how it went with Eddie Alvarez, where he like just picked him apart, and finally broke him down. But he like, man, whenever I watch fights, I see people like shouldering people. I'm always like, what are you doing, dude? Yeah. Like, you're not gonna stop me with shoulders. Yeah. And that fight broke his nose and like.
Well, you don't count. You're 6'8". No one's fucking throwing their shoulders at you.
Nobody's gonna shoulder me. But that said, I was like, okay, how's somebody really gonna get shouldered to the point where they get stopped?
I think he got stung with that knee coming in. When he
that knee might have set him off a little bit, but even that, like, it didn't really look like he took the full brunt of like the knee. It looked like the meat of his thigh hit him, and I was like, I don't know. It was just strange. And then obviously he got clipped right on the chin with a high kick. So but props to Conor. It was something. Man. That's really something.
Fuck. We were just talking not wild shit, but like I was like, Conor hasn't fought in a long time. He hasn't won in a long time. With my co-host, I was like, Cerrone has more tools. I can see how Conor could win because he's Conor McGregor. But if I'm gonna plus fucking USA all day, like if I gotta choose one,
my dog. I'm
gonna be supporting America out here.
Respect.
You know, sometimes America takes some L's. We got served up some L's that day. But
for sure. And even Cowboy's the kind of guy that like I don't ever really catch myself betting against. Yeah. But stylistically, I did not think Conor McGregor is not a good matchup for anybody stylistically.
Yeah.
And he's a really bad style matchup for Cowboy.
Yeah.
In my personal, being a student of the game, I really didn't think like, okay, like if I'm Cowboys coach, I'm telling him like, man, look, we really got to be on our shit today.
Yeah. Well, that's the fucked up thing is like that's what he reported. He was like, hey, we got a game plan and we're prepared. And that even when he was his most focused and, you know, this might be a little bit superstitious of me, but I feel like with Cowboy, it seems like a lot of these guys that he's been buddy with, or he's get into his head, he seems to have gotten beaten by those guys.
Well, even I don't. Some of them, it takes all types, right, to be successful, to be, and I'm the type where I really do like to. I'm like you. I like to really gauge like how people act around somebody they're going to fight in the future,
right?
And Conor McGregor, like, or rather, they say the exception defines the rule, right? So like Conor, like that was the least Conor McGregor we'd ever seen Conor McGregor before a fight. Like was friendly, was jovial, was not only was he not trash talking, but he's actually being very respectful and being very complimentary of Cowboy. But like I said, the exception defines the rule. Conor's the exception. Cowboy, was talking about how like it doesn't matter, blah blah. Whenever we fight Saturday, we're gonna blow the roof off this place. For me, like me personally, I don't say like, yeah, we're gonna have a great fight, we're gonna blow the roof off this place. I say no, I'm gonna go in there and try to take somebody out.
Right.
So for me to hear like, yeah, we're gonna have a great fight, that's me hearing like, okay, well you've already accepted that it's gonna be a fight that's hotly contested. And I mean, I'm all about, you do need to be mentally prepared. Like, okay, well, no matter what happens in this fight, I'm ready to go.
Right.
Whether it's 5 seconds or 15 minutes. But that said, I really hate hearing guys be like, yeah, we're gonna have a great fight. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be back and forth. But it's like, well, no, you've already resigned yourself to that. Then.
Right.
Right. Tyson Fury said something really interesting about when he fought Deontay Wilder, and he said, I really feel like Deontay Wilder's opponents have all made a place for themselves on the canvas before they'd fought him. And he's like, for me, I didn't accept that. I went in there trying to fight him. And I really feel, but so anyway, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can see that in some people's body language. They've already made a place for themselves, on the loser side of the, whatever the engagement. And I'm like, I'm not about that. Like, be ready to go out there and fight. Be ready to go out there and take it from somebody.
So if someone's trying to be buddy with you during a presser, because Bellator's got some good pressers and they have good promos and good coverage and so on and so forth. Has that happened in your career so far where someone's trying
I'm very friendly and I'm very respectful. My last opponent, Gokhan, he's here in South Florida training with us right now.
Awesome.
He before the fight, his coach had even said like, "Oh, you're not mean before the fight." I'm like, "No, I don't need to be mean to you." But from the time that you're locked in the cage to the time that you're locked out or you're out of there, it's not that you're not friends. It's not that you can't be respectful or cordial. But like, you're nobody to me. I'm trying to take you out.
Right. At the end of the day, like one of you's got to go. Right.
So that's, I'll be friendly and I'll be respectful and I'll say nice things. But like,
you're focused.
It's a zero sum game too. And I'm not going to say stuff I don't mean. Right. I'm not. If somebody asks, like, what kind of fight are you expecting? I'm not going to say like, oh, it's going to be a back and forth. I'm like, no, I'm going in there. I'm going to try to put you away. Like,
right. Yeah, that's how you train. That's how.
And I really think too that like the things you say, they materialize. So if you say like, I'm going to go out there and beat this guy up, that's what you're putting out there. It's what you're hoping to materialize. If you say like, oh, we're going to have a close fight and blah blah blah, it's like, well. Was that really what you want from yourself?
Yeah, now that I think about it, during that whole time, he was like, "I'm gonna go out there and try to beat him and stuff like that." And Conor's like, "I'm going to kill you in the first round. I'm gonna try to get you out in the first round." So
I'm gonna go in there and get you out of there. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Yeah. No, it was a lot of people. I went to work today and people were not happy with the card, but I thought it was a good card. One thing that I really liked, I'll shout out Macy Barber. Macy Barber, even though she lost and Roxanne got the better of her, she showed like some tremendous fucking heart. Okay, I looked like she torn an ACL or something in her knee because she couldn't walk on it or anything like that. And she was still able to stay out there and not get put away. So, that was a tremendous amount of toughness. I don't think she's ever faced any type of adversity like that in her career yet, in her very young career. So
no, but Macy Barber's a beast, man.
She's an animal.
She's a killer.
She's an animal.
Good on. That's a classic case. That's what I was just talking about. Like Roxanne Modafferi could have very easily walked in there and had already resigned to being the next stepping stool for Macy Barber and said no. Like I'm going in here. I'm going to try to beat you.
Which was kind of what that fight was primed to be a little bit because she was a little bit higher in the rankings.
It felt like that. It did feel like that.
And Macy's trying to climb up and eventually get that title shot. And
Roxanne's probably closer to the end of her career than the beginning of it.
Right.
So But that said, good on Roxanne Modafferi.
Yeah. So I can tell that you're a student of the game. You seem to know the people in the know and so on and so forth. So like that's important for somebody who's actively fighting. I believe because even a guy like Cowboy is like, I don't watch fights. I was like, that's right. It's insanity to me.
Yeah, I think that's silly.
It's silly, and then I feel like he got a taste of that one of the first times in his career. Maybe it probably happened several times in his career, but one of the times that I caught it was when he fought Darren Till. Everyone's like, "Hey, you sure you don't want to be prepared for Darren Till because he's fucking huge?" And
yeah,
like,
and then Darren Till hit him like a freight train.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And I mean, far be it for me to tell Cowboy Cerrone what he should and shouldn't be doing to prepare for a fight. I'm just saying though that for me, I am very deliberate about what I say and do before a fight.
Right. You watch a lot of. I'm assuming you watch a lot of tape on your opponents and stuff like that.
When I can, but I haven't. It's there's not always a lot of tape to out there to watch, and then I try to get a feel for like what kind of fighter I think they are and what I think they're gonna do. But I mean, I'm with Cowboy in the sense that like you don't need to get married to like what you see on tape. Like
right.
Everybody's different come fight night.
Right. Right. Yeah, I guess you can change it up at any time, but then you can pick up tendencies and things.
Yeah,
things
but that's what tape's good for. You pick up tendencies, you pick up habits. I like to see what people do in fights when they're doing well. I think that's really important. Like that's a very important thing to notice whenever you're watching tape. Like, okay, well, when this person's having the best fight of their life, what does it look like? You know?
Right.
So I think that's very important to take note of.
So you are in. What I think one of the best divisions in Bellator. It's like, to me, it's like, well, I think in most, fight sports, heavyweight seems to be the scariest of all the divisions. That's where the scariest motherfuckers in the face of the other usually are. But Bellator's heavyweights are pretty good. And you're undefeated there. What's the landscape look like for you? Like, where do you see yourself going next? Like, I see a couple guys that I would like to, because you have a personality on top of being skilled. You know what I mean? You seem to be, you're very intelligent. But one thing I would like to see, just for my own like selfishness, because I think it would be great and I think it would be funny, as if you fought Jack Hager. Like, is that one of those guys you would ever look at the fight, or any like what's your landscape looking like as far as moving up and fighting other people?
I mean, I don't like to pick fights. I don't like to say names, but there's a lot of skill in the Bellator heavyweight division, like you said, and it seems like it's growing more and more by the day. Not in the sense that, they add better and better fighters to the talent pool, right? So there's a lot of skill at the top end, like just the heavyweight tournament they did. Yeah. A lot of the guys that did that are, older, probably, like I said, more guys that are closer to the end of their career. But, they're still skilled. They're going out there and they're winning fights still, all of them. Yeah. And, that's something that I think about, something that, like, I try to prepare myself for skill-wise. Like, because before too long, I probably will have to fight them. So that is something I prepare to do.
That was a pretty cool Grand Prix. I like watching Matt Mitrione fight, and they had Roy Nelson in there. They had Ryan Bader, who won it all.
Frank Mir, Ryan Bader won the whole thing.
Yeah. It's
Czech Congo, King Mo.
Yeah, well, yeah, King Mo retired. One of
King Mo came back.
Oh, he came back?
He came back just recently. Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, he's back.
Yeah. Well, he's back. I don't know if he won the fight or lost though. I'm pretty sure he lost actually. I think he did come back though. I'm pretty sure.
Huh. Okay. I could have felt like the last time I saw. I mean,
he did say he retired, but then I remember seeing that he got booked a little while later, and I was like, huh, okay.
How do you feel about people doing that? Just dipping in retirement and dipping out and dipping in and just testing it?
Well, Stefan Struve is one of my best friends, right? And he kind of did the same thing. Kind of, he didn't didn't go 10 toes down on the commitment, but he'd said after the DeLima fight, like, yeah, this might be my last fight. And that's something him and I had talked about between the two of us. But it took him all of 3 months to realize, like, no, I don't want to retire. I just needed to take a step back.
Well, there's the reason why they have sports psychologists, right? Sometimes you need a break, and retirement.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I see it, and I'm like, I start to see that now, like, not for me myself personally yet, but like being close to like Stefan and like I have had the blessing of being close to like Stephen. Anthony Johnson was another guy that did it. Like
Mm-hmm.
he a couple years ago was like, yeah, I'm done. And then
He's back. He's trying to schedule him for this year.
but he's wants to come back in the summertime. He's saying now, so it's and like just I'm not super close with Rumble, but like he's somebody I've done a lot of rounds with and I've spent time with. And what little he has talked about, he said like, yeah, look, I just needed a break. Like, and you don't realize all you needed was a break whenever you retire, because I don't know, like whenever you're in it, whenever you're in the heat of your career and everything that's going on, you don't see any other way out except to totally stop.
Well, like I also feel like not only just a break from fighting. I think that's like the knee jerk. Everyone goes like, "Oh, why does it need a break from fighting?" It's like the grind, right? Like Michael Strahan was talking about. Man, if I fucking knew I could have paid to get out of football camp every year, I would have done that. If I knew if I could have just paid $1 million to just not do football camp and just show up to the season, I would have done that every single year.
Oh, absolutely.
But sometimes even guys like Michael Strahan, he would take that summer off. He would take that. He's like, listen, I put my work in. I'm 34, 33 years old now. We've made it to the playoffs every year. I'm a Pro Bowler every single year. I'm going to show up and do the same thing every single week. So, I need my break. So, that they don't have it. There's not an off season for fighting. Like,
definitely not.
Unless you're in the PFL.
Well, unless you're in the PFL. But even those guys, like you have to think that the end of the golden road for everybody in the PFL is to win $1 million.
Yeah.
And if I know that $1 million is 3 or 4 fights away, I'm not taking any time off.
Right.
I mean, I might take a day or two here and there to let my body heal up, and I always take time after a fight, obviously, to catch up a little bit. But
right.
I'm thinking, the season ends New Year's and then starts up again. Towards the beginning of the summer?
I think so.
So I'd be in the gym every day. And but that said, yeah, that is a psychological factor. Like, oh man, like. I have another fight coming up. And for me, that's very motivating. I like to be in the gym. I like to be training. But like, even to think about it from a perspective of like, like Anthony Johnson. Okay, well, like Anthony Johnson faced everybody there was to fight at 205 there for like. From the time that he fought Phil Davis to the time that he fought his last fight, Cormier. It was everybody he fought was a top 5 guy.
Well, because like he's really good. Like he was really.
He's a beast, really and he. Anthony Johnson. You saw it for yourself. The only guy that was able to deal with him was Daniel Cormier. So like, no shame there. Yeah. But everybody else he fought, he put away. But like, the fact, the ability to be able to go there mentally is, probably it's very stressful.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going. I don't remember if he's going back to light heavyweight, but I could have swore that he said he might be going to heavyweight.
No, he's coming back at heavyweight.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine him taking a break for all those years and then to come back to
back at 205.
Yeah,
no, but he looks good. He's been back to like sparring and stuff, and he looks really good.
I saw my buddy saw him because he was in Philly, or maybe at my friend's bar that he works at. I'm not exactly sure where, but he was watching the fights like in the bar, and he doesn't look as big as he was when he was powerlifting. So like he looks a little bit smaller.
No, he's slimmed down. He's lean though.
Yeah.
He's lean, and he's every bit as. I mean, like I was working with him for his last camp, and I'm seeing him now, and he hasn't lost a step athletically.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's been involved in the bare knuckle brawl, the bare knuckle fighting league. I think he owns part of it, or something. He has something to do with the ownership.
He's like a ambassador.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I saw him like holding a camera and like holding fucking Artem Lobov in the other
with one arm. With one arm. Yeah. What a beast, right?
What a madman. Okay, yeah. So you're from Pennsylvania. So you were near Steelers. So you might be a Steeler Nation guy.
Oh yes,
okay.
You have to be.
Yeah. Thank you, because if you were an Eagles fan, I was gonna have to end this.
No. we don't like the bird teams on the west side of the state.
Good.
We don't like the Ravens. We don't like the Eagles.
I saw something on YouTube. It was you grappling with Gordon Ryan, and I see that Gordon Ryan also follows you on Instagram. What's your relationship to Gordon Ryan?
Well, so Gordon Ryan and I had a grappling match where he kicked my ass, and that was before Gordon Ryan was the Gordon Ryan we know and love.
Right.
He came back to Pittsburgh like 6 months after that, and I bought a private off of him, and he kicked my ass again for an hour, and we just stayed in touch over the years. Basically,
that's cool.
He's a cool dude. He's a really obviously really made a name for himself in the grappling world, the pound for pound best grappler right now.
Yeah.
I don't really not an argument you can make against that. I don't think, especially at Nogi.
Are you big into grappling? I'm assuming you are. Like, is that your background?
Not as big as I am into MMA, and that is grappling is more my background. But yeah, no, I do like grappling. I'm a student of grappling too, and kickboxing and boxing, all that. I like to keep up with everything. I like to learn what I can when I can.
Right. No, I completely understand. Do you keep up on like Muay Thai and stuff? I'm like just getting into like Muay Thai now myself. Like, and I've been told to watch one championship in their Muay Thai. So I watched this guy Jack Haggerty or Jake. Yeah. So how do you feel about that product as well too, as far as one championship goes? On that side of the hemisphere, they own that side of the world. That's like their whole shit. Is the
they have a huge audience. And then I train with two of their double champs with Ong Lan Song and Martin Nguyen.
Gotcha.
And then, both class dudes. No, I haven't gotten super into Muay Thai yet. And we had a striking coach here for a little bit who was big into, he'd always tell me like names of people to go watch and stuff. And I just never. It's not that I don't like Muay Thai. It was just something I never really dipped my feet into. And Muay Thai is a very tough thing to be a student of the game for. Their fights are at weird times, like our time. So much. And yeah,
there's a lot. And there's a lot.
And the names, like, I'm not making fun of Thai people. I'm just saying, like, the names are very difficult.
Yeah.
Like Diesel Noi, and then you have to like they go by their first name, but when they fight, they adopt the name of their gym as their last name. So it's it's a lot. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's a lot to keep up with, and then like Buaka, who's probably the most famous Thai fighter in the West that like known of in the kickboxing world, started off as Buakaw, and then he was Por Premuk, and now he's Buakaw Banchamek. And it's just a lot.
I've already forgotten the name, and it's again. I'm not making fun of the Thai. Don't fuck us up in the street, guys. Well, please.
Henry's wife is Thai, so even if I did make fun of the Thai, she'd probably give me a hard time about it.
Oh man. Okay, so we went over your first. Oh, I also saw that you had fought in Titan FC. There's a lot of guys that I know that are in that gym. Does that gym, Hard Knocks 365, have a relationship with Titan FC?
Well, so the fights that Titan does in South Florida are at the same building that Hard Knocks is in. So gotcha. The whole building is Extreme Action Park, right? And they do the fights for Titan inside of Extreme Action Park, and then in its own section of that building is Hard Knocks 365. And then so it's a South Florida promotion, so it's just it's one of those things. It's like it's us and American Top Team basically.
Awesome. Okay, so you go over from Titan, you go to the Bellator. Do you remember like your first time, like, because like the walkouts for Bellator seems pretty cool. Like it seems like they have like this red carpet thing going on, and they have like they're pretty good promotion as far as like production value and everything. What are your nerves like going out? I guess still even now, are they different? Do you handle it better?
I don't know. That's a weird question. Not that it's not a bad question, but it's a funny question to answer.
Yeah.
I don't know. The nerves are pretty similar every time. Just in that, man, it's terrifying to fight. It's scary. It's scary as hell. But it's I don't know. Like once you start to walk, you're kind of like, okay, this isn't so bad. And then when you're locked in there, the training takes over. So no. I don't know. It's special. And then like I made my pro debut for Titan, so that was in itself. It was very very humbling to like be part of something like that. Like Titan had already been a very established show by the time I fought for them.
The Usman brothers are like they both. I'm pretty sure they both came up in Titan. I know Muhammad is
Muhammad's in Titan now. I think Kamaru started with LFA.
Okay. Because I see Usman sometimes on Fight Pass like doing commentary.
But he does. He's a commentary. Yeah, he's a commentator for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then they also follow you too. Have you met them before?
Who's that?
Either one of the Usman brothers.
Yeah, I met them both. I've trained with them both actually. So Kamaru and I are teammates, and then Muhammad's.
That's right.
Muhammad's in Texas.
Gotcha.
So, but I have trained with him before too. He's a good dude. I like them both. They're both good guys.
Muhammad is a massive human being as well.
Yeah. He's a truck.
Complete monster. That's basically most of the stuff. Oh wait, no, there's one person that I saw that follows you that I absolutely love as a personality. Robin Black. Have you ever talked to
Yeah,
Robin Black before?
I have. Robin Black did a breakdown of my last win.
And that was via Kimura, right?
Yeah, and I've been watching Robin. I've been watching Robin compete since or not compete. I've been watching Robin's like since the Fight Network was around. Mm-hmm. So it's not around anymore. But that was really cool. Like not just when I met him, whatever coming up on a year ago. And then whenever he did a breakdown of me, it was just wild.
Every time
somebody cool dude. Robin's a great guy, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna imagine he seems cool. I've seen him do podcasts and stuff, and he just seems like a really cool down.
No, he's guy. Chill as hell, and he's really really easy to talk to. Really nice guy.
Yeah, he does it for a living. So
I would hope so. For real. Somebody thinks so, right?
Yeah. So what's next? What's next for Mr. Steve? Mowry?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it yet.
Okay.
So I'll just say I do have something booked right now. I'm sure in the next few days we're gonna hear about it, or I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more.
Fair enough.
But it'll be soon. All
right. That's basically all I have. This is the chance I give to all the fighters to like do shout outs and sponsors and all that stuff that you want to talk about. This is your platform to say whatever.
Oh, shucks. So follow me on Instagram as Tall Steve Fights People. Follow me on Twitter, Tall Steve MMA. Shout out to my teammates, my coaches, my training partners, all of them. Obviously very, very grateful for, to be able to be on the show. Grateful to all my sponsors, Thrasher Hemp Shoes. And that's it. Thank you for having me, man. It was good talking to you.
Dude, fucking thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. This means such a big deal to me. You answered me, I spent a lot of time just seeing oh, that guy looks interesting, and I'll just message. That's all I got. I don't have a manager or anything, so
yeah.
I just gotta do some door knocking, and you opened up the door. So I am very, very grateful. Thank you so much for taking the time.
I do gotta say, it's very nice to be able to talk to somebody who it's part of the game is doing interviews.
Yeah.
So sometimes talking to people is it's like having your teeth pulled. You're like. You feel like you're the one doing the interview, like you have to ask them questions back, So it's very nice to talk to somebody who seems engaged and wants to, talk and not very. There are a few people out there in the world that are easy to talk to, nice to talk to, but that said, this has been a very pleasant interview. It's nice to talk to somebody who actually wanted to talk.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of fight sports, and I want to get a better understanding, and I feel like the best way for my understanding is to talk, make an organic conversation. Sometimes it's not the greatest, but sometimes.
No, I bet. I'm sure some people are very receptive to that.
Yeah. But this is something. This is like a hobby of mine. So because I made it a hobby, it's less like work. So I feel like a lot of people are like they have a goal.
You get to have a little bit more fun with it.
Right. And but even people who do it for ESPN, they have way more fun. Of course, they have an agenda. This is what ESPN wants to cover. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But those people seem to be personalities in their own right, and that's why they are able to get the spotlight, like Ariel and Brett Okamoto and all those guys, even girls like Laura Sanko and Megan Olivier and all those.
Megan Olivier seems very skilled at being able to coerce conversation out of people.
Yeah, they just seem very organic on the mic. But
which is funny because Megan Olivier's like this big.
She's really tall. She's tiny. Well, you're 6'8".
She's like this big. She's married to Joe Benavidez. Not that means anything, but she's like 4'11".
Okay, that's very small.
But her ability to make people reconverse with whatever she has to say is very impressive.
What I would even say the first time I ever talked to anybody that was even reasonably famous was Elliot Marshall on the Ultimate.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I was all sweaty and shit. He was one of my first guys that I ever got to talk from in the UFC, ever, or who have had anything to do with the UFC. And everything was failing. I had practiced all week to make sure I can do the stream right and all this stuff. And when the day came, fucking OBS wouldn't work and all that shit. And he taught the recording software that I'm using right now is the one that he recommended to me. He's like, dude, I'll just fucking do it. I'll send it over. And you can hear the paper rattling and shit. It was just rough. It was rough. But I needed to do that a dozen times to get a little bit smoother and better in talking. So it wasn't as scary as as it is. But now I just feel like I have a good rapport with people.
So you're just talking. Yeah, no, you're good at it. My dog.
My dog.
My dog.
But I really appreciate it, man. Whenever you want to, if you ever just want to say hi, you're more than welcome. But if you want to do an interview or other stuff, just let me know.